Donna here with Sparkle and Sprinkle, and I'm coming to you from Rangiroa off the Tahitian Islands. And I hope you guys all had a very, very happy holiday, and wishing you a happy new year, and enjoy this month's Video Kit Club. Bye-bye. Okay, so you will see a photo of the layout of everything that you guys get in this beautiful January Video Kit Club. And this is our stamp Video Kit Club. We actually have a surprise coming for you guys later on this month, so make sure you stay tuned to our YouTube channel, our newsletter, and check out our Facebook page and our Instagram page. I know it's a lot of homework, but I know you guys like being involved in everything. So here is the card that we're going to be making. I am going to be using this beautiful brand new Follow Your Heart die set by Tonic Studios. There are 2 dies in this set. You get the outline heart, which is how we made this awesome card, and then the inside beautiful intricate, the silhouette die that we're using. So, and then the inside of our card, as this is going to be able to sit up in place, so it's nice once you send somebody this card, they can actually prop it up and display all of your hard work. And this is the stamp set, which is also included in the kit, and this is Roses in My Heart stamp set. And we are just going to be utilizing the floral portion of it. I made a few samples using some of the sayings, which you can also incorporate inside the card. This one that I'm showing you, I'm not going to stamp a saying inside, but feel free to modify like I always say. And then here's another great example of one of these pop-up cards by one of our fabulous designers, Irit. So make sure you check out the blog on the 15th of more great ideas to use our stamp sets with. Okay, so to get started, I'm going to go through all the different die cutting that you need to do. So you're going to be running your die cut machine through about 3 times with 3 different dies. So like I said, in this die, you get the beautiful silhouette, and then you get the heart background. So to start, you are going to get your black cardstock, and just simply, you want to be able to, let me move all these guys so you can see everything. Okay, so you're going to want to lay this out so you can fit 2 per page. So what I've done here is positioned the 2 so I can get out 2 per page. Obviously, black cardstock is something you probably have a lot of, so if we're giving you enough to get 6 cut out, so if you end up taking up a little bit too much more space, maybe just grab an extra piece of black cardstock. So once you cut that out, you are going to have this beautiful black silhouette die cut. So I've went ahead and pre-cut mine, and I just ran it through my beautiful, lovely tangerine, and I ran it through twice that way, and then I flipped it over and ran it through again. And I find when I do that, that makes sure that every little bit is cut out. On these really fine dies, I like to do that. Okay, next you're going to cut out your mirrored cardstock, and you want to cut out 5 of these as well, just like you wanted 5 of your silhouettes in the black cardstock. So I went ahead, and you're getting the full sheets because you can get 3 of your hearts per sheet. And what I normally tell you guys to do is cut out your design. You can do that. You can obviously cut around these and then run it through your die cut machine. Or what I did is I put my heart die down. While this was a solid piece of paper, I put my heart die down, and then I put a sheet of printing paper over it. And that helps getting all of the little, all of that other extra imprint on your mirrored cardstock. So if you lay a sheet of paper over it, that really does help that out. So those are the 2 cutouts for the front. That's the black silhouette and the mirrored cardstock. And then to create your card here, what you're going to do is take your white cardstock. You get 5 sheets of of the 8.5 by 11 white cardstock. You're going to take the frame, the same one you use the mirrored cardstock, fold your white card sheet in half, and then simply make sure you're raising some of this up. So I am going to show you there. So see how some of my heart, it's not fully on the paper, and that's how you get that fold in your card. So once you've ran that through your die cut machine, you end up with something like this. So I've got my folded over white cardstock, which is fantastic. And you can only get one per sheet of cardstock, so obviously you've got a lot of leftover. If you've got a 12 by 12, you can get 2 of them, so that's fantastic. You can use those as well. Once you have your white cardstock ran through your die cut machine, what you're gonna do, I'm gonna just hold it this way, is fold that top heart in half, and you're folding it inward. And you could obviously use a bone folder and you could score it and everything, but I'm just cheating and I'm using my finger tools because they're here. So you're gonna take your fold like this, and then you're gonna take that top heart and fold it in half. So that will fold over simply like that, and set that aside. And that is our card base, now absolutely ready to go. So to get started now, we are going to be working on this beautiful specialty paper, and this is coral something. I have the package in the other room, so I'll write it down. Beautiful, I love it. You could see the cute little hearts in it. It's got this golden iridescent shine to it. And what I went ahead and did is I took, just kind of as a reference, is I went ahead and I took that large heart and I just traced around it. And it doesn't need to be perfect, you're not gonna see this. Just so I can see where I'm going to be applying my glitter. So take your little heart base, just like that. And now I'm gonna be using the Silver Jubilee, and this is the glitter accents. This is included in your kit as well. And I am just gonna go ahead and squeeze that on my heart. You can do a little swirl here, and I'm just applying the glitter accents. And now you can use a spreading tool. I'm going to use a piece of paper and just simply go ahead and rub that up your card. And I like to get a little glitter everywhere. And that is done. So you see that? You've got the beautiful hits of the glitter on top here, and then a nice glittery background for the bottom of the heart. You're gonna wanna let this sit and dry for a while. I also used my heat tool to speed up the dry time. Once that has completed drying, I have one here that's totally dry, then you can go ahead and apply your silhouette to it. So once that is nice and dry, like I said, then you apply your silhouette. If you try to rush this step, it's not going to be very fun. So I tried a couple different ways to apply this. I ran this through with my Tear-ific tape. Then you're spending a lot of time trying to peel the backing off. So I found it to be much easier to just use my beautiful, fantastic, smooth precision glue pen. And you could probably see some of the dots I already put on. I put adhesive everywhere, but I'm just gonna show you. Just go through and just add your adhesive. Make sure you don't neglect your fine little delicate pieces. So now I'm just gonna add a couple of fresh glue drops, and then because I have the other adhesive on it and this dries tacky, I'm just gonna go ahead and stick that on. So you can't see this now, but I went and covered the whole thing with my glue pen already. And it's dried, that's why it's black instead of white. So if you could see it hitting the light, it's nice and shiny. All right, so now I'm gonna take my silhouette. It's also much easier to reposition it using the glue versus my Tear-ific tape, I found. And I like to play around to see what works best first before putting it in a video for you guys. So now I'm just simply going to press that down. Now you could even take one of your Tear-ific tapes and kind of brayer this down, which really help secure it. And that adhesive from that glue pen is like magical. It is nice and permanently adhered down now. So you can apply that glue when it's wet, or you can let it dry like I did where it was nice and tacky and apply it. So look at how beautifully and permanently set that is. Now you're gonna go ahead and cut that out. We'll fast forward so you don't have to watch me cut. Okay, once you've completed cutting that out like so, then what we're gonna do is we are going to take one of your mirrored cardstocks and adhere that to the back. So I'm gonna grab my Tear-ific tape, just a couple pieces. You can also use your glue pen. I'm just gonna do this quickly. I might actually want to use both. So I'm gonna use my Tear-ific tape. This is the 1/2 inch. And this specialty paper, it's not flat. So something like the Tear-ific tape has a little trouble, like any adhesive, flat adhesive like this, kind of sticking it. So you wanna make sure you really push it down before you peel it up. There we go. And I'm gonna take my glue pen again, and I'm just gonna add a couple drops of adhesive up around the edges, because I do not like when my little edges pop up on my cards. So there, use both, your glue pen and your Tear-ific tape. So now I'm going to set this down, and I'm gonna go pretty close to the bottom and just eyeball it like so. You can use your fantastic brayer again, just to make sure that is fully adhered down. And now you have the front of your card completed. Isn't that fun and beautiful? You can even attach that on a scrapbook page if you want to add that to a scrapbook page on one of your 5 cards that you're making. So I'm going to set that aside, and now we are going to work on the inside of our card. So I'm going to go back to my white card fold here. I'm going to take my coffee filter, and what we are going to do is we are going to be using this large, beautiful heart frame stamp, with flowers in it. And I went ahead and stuck this on one of my blocks. You can also use your platform, but the reason I'm using a block is so I can actually really jimmy it around and see where I want to place it. I want to make sure when I'm stamping it out that my large heart is in the center, so that way when I pop it up, I have a nice stand for it to sit on. So that's what we are going for here. And you can practice a couple times too and stamp it out on paper to see where you want pieces of your stamp to sit on your cardstock. Another note, I'm going to be using my Clear Mark ink pad. I want to make sure I don't get any adhesive on the actual frame. So it's nice to be able to just hold up my block and ink it up like I'm doing here, so I can see that I'm not getting any ink on this frame that it comes with. I'm just using a portion of the stamp. All right, once that is good and inked up, I'm going to take my static free bag, and then I'm going to take my stamp, and it works out kind of nicely. The bottom of the heart here, I'm going to position closer to the bottom here, kind of off to the side a little bit. So my heart is definitely at an angle. My heart's at an angle. So this little loop here is going to be off to the side. And I'm going to stamp that down, give it a lot of pressure. This is where the platform would come in handy. I could really apply a good amount of pressure. Pop that up. Yay! And then I'm going to add my black embossing powder and heat set. Now, if you did get some ink, I've just noticed here, I do have some ink right here from the frame, just make sure when you're putting down your embossing powder that you don't put any embossing ink on it. So there is that part. And then I'm going to avoid this little frame here. Now you could take a dry brush. If you did over ink, I know you guys love when I make mistakes for you. So I'm going to take a little dry brush and wipe away parts of this frame that did get ink on it. Just like that. Boo-boo friendly. Now I'm going to go ahead and heat set. All right, and now I have the inside of my card stamped and embossed. So I am going to do one last thing here with my embossing powder on the inside of my card. I'm going to just take my black embossing powder and I am just going to sprinkle some of it to do kind of more of a mixed media look. Just kind of like not so perfect. I know we worked so hard on making sure I want it to have more of like a shadowing effect to it. And then what you're gonna do is heat from the bottom. Now, if you put too much on somewhere, you can just wipe it off, or you can give it a little tap and that will change where everything sits. And then I'm gonna go ahead and heat from the bottom. And now I have this cool little splatter effect, and we will go back to that in a second. So set that card aside. And next we are going to take our leftover space here with your beautiful specialty paper, and we're gonna stamp that. So this one you don't have to be so particular about making sure that you don't touch the edges of the frames because you're gonna be cutting it out. So I'm gonna take my clear mark again, and I'm gonna be cutting out the flowers. So I'm really just concerned about making sure I get both of the roses and the little rosebud. So ink that up with your clear mark, and then I'm gonna give that a stamp, and I'm gonna really push down. Now I also did this with my plastic. Okay, so once you have stamped that down, you're gonna take your black embossing powder, cover that up, tap that off. Oh, good, that worked out nicely. Give that a good tap, and then you're gonna go ahead and heat set. All right, once you've completed heat setting, bleh, you are going to go ahead and fussy cut your flowers out. Now, because there's a lot going on here, it might be a little difficult to see where exactly each of your rosebuds are. So what you can do is take your pen and just cross out where the lines next to your flowers that are not part of the rose that you want to cut out. So like that's the leaf. It just might help too while you're eyeballing it. Okay, so what I did was I did little X's all around. You could even use like a red pen. So now I know exactly the outline of my flower. And I did that with the help of looking at my actual stamp on my stamp set. So then you're gonna go ahead and fussy cut those, which I did right here. And what you're gonna wanna do, sorry, let's back up. Before you fussy cut your largest flower, is you are gonna take a little piece of your Tear-ific tape. I'm gonna use the 1.5 inch. And I am going to stick that right behind my large flower. It's okay if it gets on the other one. And peel that off, and then I'm gonna stick some cardstock. And I'm doing that, and I'm gonna use my same little scraper guy I'm doing that just so it is really sturdy and supportive. So now when I go and cut this out, it is going to be nice and thick. And you need that for the largest flower because that is going to be your holder here. So that paper is really thin, the actual paper. So putting that amount of pressure on it without the support of that extra cardstock, this would like buckle. So just on your larger flower, it needs to be backed up. So I've already done that with this one here. And what we are gonna do next is we are gonna go back to this guy and finish working on that. So while I had my embossing gun out, I just wanted to make sure we did both the embossing techniques on our specialty paper and our card base. So now I'm gonna show you another technique using your glitter accents. So I'm going to take a little bit here and there. I'm going to just add a couple drops here and there. It doesn't need to be perfect because we are going to blend them a little bit, and I'll show you the technique I use to do that. So I am just adding a couple drops here and there, and these are not like the crystal drops in terms of keeping its form. It's a lot of glitter and not as much of that paste that makes your crystal drops pop up, whatever a liquid that they use in it. This is more of like a full glitter adhesive kind of thing. Okay, so I'm going to take my finger tool now, and I am just pouncing right into it and pulling that glitter out. And I know what you're thinking. It kind of looks like a little bit of a hot mess before you get your flowers put on, but trust me, once you have your flowers put on, it looks very nice. And none of this glitter is going anywhere. That's all gonna stay exactly where it's been placed. And then you can wash off your finger tool with just a little soap and water. Okay, so next I'm gonna take my glue pen, which that is not you. Here we are. My glue pen, I'm gonna glue on my little flowers that I cut out. Just do a little pouncing to get the adhesive out. Fantastic. Place that down. It's a little puzzle now, so you need to figure out what petal goes where. And that goes just like that. So you can see once you get your roses on there, it looks really pretty with the glitter and the embossing powder in the background. You can also leave it totally plain, like this one here. Here's the one that I stamped. So if you don't want that splatter technique and you want it to look cleaner, you can do that as well. We like options. I know you do. Okay, I'm gonna add my little rosebud. Stay. Right there. And then your very last step is to take your large flower, take your dimensional adhesive, or your pop-up dot, or a foam, double adhesive foam tape. I have a little one here that I'm going to use. I have a little circle, and I am just going to take off both sides. Obviously you can use a square too, it doesn't matter. Pop that on there. So I've got my double adhesive, and then just match that up again right there, and that is nice and popped up. My inside's complete. I'm just gonna take, my insides are so complete now, a little bit of my Tear-ific tape, like so. Peel the backing off. You can add a little bit of your wet adhesive from your glue pen. Don't be afraid to mix your adhesives. The more the merrier. So if you've got some fine corners and you want to make sure it's going to stick, so you use your Tear-ific tape, you can go ahead and use a little bit of adhesive from your glue pen. And now I'm going to come over with my card front, and I am simply going to hold my heart in my hand, and I'm going to stick that down just like so. You can make sure it lines up there. Push that down. I'm going to even flip it over. I'm going to use my fancy brayering tool again. And now your card is complete. So I have the outside of my card, beautiful little sparkle inside of my palm of my hand. And then you open that up like so, and you pop that up just like that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said, I hope you had a fantastic holiday. Looking forward to an amazing 2018. We've got a lot of fun surprises headed your way. So make sure you stay tuned to our Sparkle and Sprinkle YouTube channel. Check out our Facebook page, subscribe for our newsletter. You have so much homework, so get to work. Please comment below if you like what you saw. And thanks for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.